Hello everyone. So we're back with another tutorial for y'all, and today we decided to alter this candy box that we have, and we're just going to use some mixed media techniques. And today we'll be using a lot of Itsy Bitsy products in this video. So let's begin. Now to start off with, uh, I've made a mark where the lid ends with an OHP marker, just so that I don't work on that rim to ensure that the lid closes back once the entire surface has been covered. So first we're going to be using some white gesso. You could use any brand. Right now this is what we have, and we'll be using, just taking some out on my palette, and I'll be using a piece of sponge to cover the surface. So I'm gonna sponge some gesso on the lid first. Now this is going to prime the entire surface and ensure that any medium and any texture that we do further will stand out, as well as, since this is an altered piece, the gesso is going to give us an even white background covering the entire print beneath. So I'll just set this aside and work on the box under the line I've marked. Now let's cover the rim of the lid as well. Now I'm just going to give this a quick dry. Okay, so now that the gesso is dry, we can proceed to our next step. Now for the next step, we're going to add some texture using a stencil. So for this, I'm using this circle stencil dots stencil by Itsy Bitsy. And to get a dimension in the texture, we'll be using the modeling paste. So this is the modeling paste that we'll be using for this. So just place the stencil on the surface, and with a plastic palette knife, spread some modeling paste. Now for this, since the surface is pretty small, I'll be covering the entire surface through the stencil. The more you add, the greater the dimension. So that's what we've got now. Just scraping it off from the side so that I don't have the pointed peaks. And now for the rim, I'm just gonna dab the palette knife for some added texture with the modeling paste very randomly. So that is the texture on the rim. Let's leave this aside And let's stencil on the base as well. Since it's a circular surface, it's going to be very difficult to hold the stencil there, so we got to keep moving it. So I'll thus be doing it very randomly. Once the modeling paste has dried, we can begin adding color. Now in this case we used our hair dryer to dry it, but if you have time you can just set it aside until it dries on its own. So today we'll be using the Itsy Bitsy alcohol splash, gold alcohol splash sprays, and here we have Citron Breeze, Pink Punch and Golden Mocha. So let's just start by adding some pink punch, and for this I'm spraying a bit on the surface and then blending the colors with the sponge. So that's pink, and then I'm gonna go in with the gold and just tap them so that they spread a bit, and then we get a good blend of color as well. And then let's add some of the green. Little splash of gold there, and that's the blend we got on our surface. Now these colors dry really quick and they have a real nice gold shimmer to them, so it really gives us a good background color there for our box. So now the same way I'm going to color the rim as well as the base of the box. The rim is a narrower surface, so maybe I'm going to spray it on the craft mat and then pick it up with the sponge. So first I do have some color on the sponge left. I'm just using that and dabbing it on the rim. And that's the color on the rim. And let's just set it aside and work on the base of the box. So the same way I'm just tapping off whatever color is there on the sponge first, and then I'll go in with some more color. So I'll just give this a quick dry first. So while the color dries, let's just begin with how we want to layer our elements here. So we've got a few flowers again, itsy bitsy flowers, and we also have a die. This is a nice doily die, a thinlit die which we grabbed during the dream launch, Itsy Bitsy dream launch party. And I think this is going to make a good element for our layering. We're going to be cutting this on the classic white paper from Itsy Bitsy. So first I'm gonna cut a piece of the paper to die cut this. And then I'm gonna spray some color here so that when I die cut the doily, I get a colored image. And I'm going to use the same pink and maybe the gold Soot, which is like a darker gold. So I'm just shaking it up so that the shimmer moves in the entire bottle. And the same way, let's spray some on the paper. And you can see how the colors work differently on a porous surface like the paper. And the shimmer is very evident. So I'm just going to see if that's enough. Yes, that seems enough. So I'm going to get this cut on the paper. Okay, so that's the beautiful doily cut from that die, and you can see how the colors also pop out with that slight shimmer tone. So now we might just use half of this doily for the layer here and probably use this for another project later. So I'm just going to get out some flowers and start playing around with the elements. Okay, so I've cut the doily in half for the layering part, and these flowers look good, so I'm just going to use some Fevicol and stick the layers together. I stuck layers of flowers together, created some smaller ones as well, and added a colored stone to the center to complete the flower. Now we can start the layering. So here is a small piece of gauze, and I'm just gonna stretch it a bit to give it a ruffled look. Just pulling some threads out, and now I like the doily there, and I'm just gonna probably put the gauze at the back. Yeah. And then add the flowers, and we'll just use some white thread as well. So first I'm gonna use some Fevicol and get the gauze adhered. And next add some to the doily die cut and stick it down. The gauze. And now I'm just going to layer and stick the flowers down. So I'm going to add some string there. take some more white thread. Shit behind this flower here. Yeah. So that's how the flowers look on the box now. We could just add some flowers here as well, maybe just the smallest ones with a stone in the center of each. So I'm just going to pick out similar colors. I'm just going to start sticking them. So that's what it looks like. And I'm just going to add some glue and stick the stone as well. So that instantly adds some embellishment to the base and pops the entire box. So now this is what the final box looks like. Splash of color here and there, the glitter, the flowers, this beautiful doily, everything adding to its beauty. The sprays seem to be a little tacky for a day or two, but then eventually as they dry, they lose their tackiness. So that's not something to worry about. Hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and we look forward to your creations. Do use the hashtag dots2lines or DTL when you share your work on Instagram or Facebook, and do tag us. Looking forward to seeing you again next week. Until then, have a great week and bye bye.